Kevin Locke is a North American Indian from the Sioux Nation. He is internationally known as a hoop dancer. Kevin believes that the teachings of the Baha'i Faith are the fulfillment of his traditional native prophecies. He is currently a member of the national governing body of the Baha'is of the United States.
My name is Kevin Locke. My Indian name is Thokea Inaji. That means stands first. Stands first. And I live on the Standing Rock Reservation. I live in a little community or district of Wakpala. And I and my wife, Dorothy, and 3 children, we live out in the country. We live right on the confluence of the Missouri and the Grand River. And that's a beautiful, beautiful spot, and it's been occupied for about at least 12,000 years, quite intensively for a long period of time. I'm, like I say, a member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and the band that resides in that area are of the Hunkpapha band, and we have several famous people, you know, in that band, such as Sitting Bull or Chief Gall, different famous leaders. I learned this from a young man named Arlo Goodbear from Shell Creek, North Dakota, who gave me instructions on this about, several years ago, about 11, 12 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. And the way I try and do the hoop dance is to tell a story, and this story is tells the unfoldment of spring. So the designs that we will introduce and show with the hoops will represent various aspects of spring, starting with the sun and the moon, and we'll make designs representing the change of seasons. We'll show, like a plant kind of emerging out of the earth, emerging out of the earth. We'll show flowers and trees, birds and butterflies. We'll make mountain and hill designs, and clouds and stars and rainbows, all different designs that you can associate with life and spring and renewal. And then all the while we'll be adding hoops, and finally we'll get all the hoops into a design at the end, and that design will represent the eagle. And we're going to try and use 28 hoops, and the 28 represents the days in the lunar cycle. It takes 28 days to go for one complete cycle of the moon. So this will be the lunar cycle in which spring unfolds. I started a lot of things fresh about the time I became a Baha'i, and just before then and just shortly after that. It seems like a lot of things happened in my life. I got on quite a different track in life. But I started really getting into that with renewed vigor, and it's been just wonderful. I used to have an uncle that would comment. He would say, if this, in life you have to in order to be fully participating as a human being, you have to express yourself in every way you can. and he would refer to the nature around. You know, you look at the everything is in a state of communication, just like the sun will just pour out its energy, its rays, and that's how it communicates with the earth and all living things, and all living things will communicate back. You know, all the trees will reach out as if they're yearning to make connection or contact, communicate with the source of their life. All the grass and the flowers, all of the clouds and the birds are always singing and engaged in movement and joy. And so he's saying, we as human beings, you know, we can do no less than to take from that example and express ourselves. One of the ways that we can really express ourselves more fully is through music and dance. You know, he's always emphasized dancing. So I kind of got a little prompting, to get involved in that. But I really enjoy it. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't dance. Many hundreds of years ago, in the oral traditions of the Lakota, they speak of a woman who was sent by God. They say Wakantanka, the most great spirit, sent this woman down to the earth to give them a gift and to establish a relationship and to tell the people of the sacredness of life. And so she gave the people, you know, spiritual laws and teachings, and she also gave them signs or prophecies as to how to recognize, or you know, the conditions that would be consonant with the return or the renewal of the spirit, of the new spirit that would, you know, renew the world. And there's many things that she indicated. One of them was that when the new spirit or messenger that would come would be in the form of the morning star, And of course, you see on my outfit that I wear, I have a lot of morning stars. That's the 8-pointed star, and this is a very prominent design in many tribes, including the Lakota tribe. And the morning star, you know, it's always the first point of light on the horizon of a new day. And when it reaches a certain point, there's a light or a dividing line you see above which is darkness, and below is gradations of light. And of course, the morning star will push all the stars, all the luminaries up in the heavens, push them ahead. And as it rises, it'll make a road by which the sun can later come up. Then it comes up, and there's a beautiful red streak that appears, and then that star disappears. And so this is one of the things that really attracted me was these people that I mentioned in Fort Yates, North Dakota. They went on a Baha'i pilgrimage, which means that they went over to Israel and they visited Mount Carmel and the different holy sites of the Baha'i faith. And they had some slides. One of them they purchased. It was an aerial photograph of the shrine of the Bab, who was the forerunner of the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah. And the Bab, which means the door or the gate in Arabic, which of course is what the morning star represents. That's the door, that's the gate by which the new day will be ushered in, the harbinger of the new day. And I looked at the aerial photograph, and I could see that the upper part of the shrine, this beautiful building in which the remains of the Bab are entombed, is an 8-sided building, the top part. And then quite prominently displayed around the shrine of the Bab are these beautiful gardens in which there's some large 8-pointed stars around there. And this is what really caught my attention as he was showing that slide, and I asked him to come back to that, and that really struck me, you know, that the prominence of that design, the 8-pointed star, and of course the meaning of it. And of course, you know, the life of the Bab is very much is very close to the physical reality of the morning star, you know, as it comes up, and just as I was describing, as it pushes the darkness and is the dividing line between light and dark. And of course, it makes a road by which the sun can travel. And then how it's just, its physical appearance is very brief. It's just up there for a short time, then it fades. The first rays of the sun, even though the sun is way below the horizon, will extinguish the light of the morning star. So this is the life of the Bab too. You know, his ministry was very short, just a brief 6 years. And of course, you know, there was 20,000 martyrs. And just like that star comes up, and then there's that red road which is laid out, the red road by which the sun will penetrate through. So these are some of the different things. Of course, another thing is that this woman, this maiden who brought the law, who instilled the sense of the sacredness of life among the Lakota, she said that she would return too. And when Baha'u'llah was imprisoned, he was in this the Sia Cha, which is a prison in Tehran, what's now Iran, or then known as Persia. It was a woman who appeared to him as an apparition and intimated his revelation, who announced to him that he would, you know, his ministry. So this also, to me, was a fulfillment when I discovered that as well. In the Sioux language, the first word that they used to describe people from Europe, they called them Oblatunkahapi, which means people who make everything square. And this was an observation that they had, I guess, 300 years ago or so, because they were just astounded to see people that made things into the shape of squares. And, you know, the homes, and they would carry books around, you know, like the Jesuits and different people, and everything that they did was in the shape of a square. And this was beyond their conception because, you know, as I said earlier, the Indian people, the Lakota, they view the universe as being round, so that's how they construct their life, and, you know, that pattern that permeates everything. And so when we present these different things like the dances, and even when we use the language, the Sioux language, the Lakota language, it causes you to structure your thoughts so that you see everything as being interrelated, interconnected. And then when I go to schools, I have to go to schools and talk to kids. And these kids, they don't come from that world. They come from a world of squares. You know, they sit in little square desks. They sit in a square room. There are 4 square walls. They look up at the ceiling and they see the square patterns, or at the floor, the chalkboard. The teacher sits in a desk. They get all their lessons from a book, or maybe they have a computer screen. If they get bored and daydream, they look outside. They look out the square window. They'll go home, they'll ride in a school bus home, they'll go in their little home, they'll get hungry, maybe they'll get a box of food, or they'll open the ice box. Or maybe they'll go on vacation, they'll fly over the country, whatever country it is, and they look out the window and they see that the whole land, everything is square, you know? So this is it's quite a contrast. And so when I got to be that age, I realized that I was kind of getting myself squeezed into a little box. Then I could see my different elders, and I could see the way they think and their lifestyle and things, and I thought that was really beautiful. And I think as a group of people, or the age that we're in right now, this beautiful day and age, we're at the threshold of this great process of the formation of the oneness, the unity of mankind. We're finally at the point where like for 500 years, the people of the square, that's the way in the Sioux language, the people from Europe, and the people of the hoop, it's just been conflict, confrontation. Never the twain shall meet, seems like on every level of interaction, whether it's social, political, geographic, racial, linguistic, every level of interaction, there's been this conflict. And I think we're finally at the stage in human development after 500 years where we can say, yes, this is valid. There's many beautiful things, contributions from this way of life. And there's many beautiful contributions from this way of life. And we stand to do nothing but benefit to realize the validity of both of these ways of viewing the world. And I think it's just not only that, but from every level, every different aspect of human society, whatever race or cultural background, we can see all of these kind of merging to form a beautiful whole, a beautiful fulfillment or completion. In pre-Columbian times, there were 400 to 500 different Indian languages spoken in North America. In order to overcome this great language barrier, a universal form of language was developed. It's a language of gesture and sign, and it's called Indian Sign Language. I would like to give a demonstration of this in the form of a prayer, an Indian prayer. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I am small and weak. One of your many children am I. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise that I may know the many things you have hidden in every leaf and rock. I seek strength not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come before you with clean hands and straight eyes, so that when life fades like the fading sunset, my spirit may come before you without shame. I remember meeting some Baha'is, and they invited my family, my wife, and at that time I just had my oldest daughter. Well, this is about 14 years ago, and they were just so kind and wonderful, it really. I was wondering, now what are these people after? Because that's one thing that the Baha'is have that is very rare, and when Indian people meet with that, it takes them by surprise, because in every level, all this interaction I was describing as over the centuries, all these interactions, they've been tainted. In other words, there's always been ulterior motives. There's, like, I'll give you this religion or this way, and you have to give up something. And so, or, in all the political interactions, it's always been these strings attached. And so what these Baha'is, what they showed to me was something that I'd never experienced before, from non-Indian people. And this was this quality, we call it unconditional love, or love unalloyed. And I was wondering, now what are these people after? There's got to be something, but and it really took me by surprise to just as I was interacting with them and just the way they were, their spirit. So that's what initially attracted me. And then I don't think I really got a conception of what the Baha'i faith was until, it didn't sink into my heart really until about 1983, which is just a short few years ago, when this a delegation, there's a delegation of Indian Baha'is that came from South America and Central America. And they came on what was called a Trail of Light. And this whole trip was done in order to fulfill these old prophecies going way back. And it seems like this is found in some form in all different tribes. They speak about how at the beginning of time, all the people were gathered together. And then again, at the end of time, or at the beginning of the renewal of time, all these people would cross paths and interact and see each other again. And so this venture, or this project, this trail of light, was done in order to fulfill that. And that's when it really hit me, when these people from the Quechua and the Kuna, Mapuche, all these different tribes came up here. And I could see, the strength and the vitality that they kind of embodied. The flute is one of the traditional instruments utilized throughout North America. It has been used for thousands of years. And I would like to play a traditional song from the Sioux or Lakota tribe. And this is a courting song played on the traditional Sioux flute. I think that we're, with the vision of the Baha'i faith, I can see how clearly we're standing right at the joining, the confluence of all these different diverse paths that mankind has been treading, from way back to the beginning of time, and how we're standing right at the intersection of all these. And the goal is in sight, because every culture, every religious or spiritual teaching from every segment of mankind has the same goal in sight. Like maybe in Christianity they might say, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Well, in the Lakota vision of the goal, they say this hoop of life, this beautiful hoop, will be made complete. God himself will establish the complete hoop onto the earth, representing this grand pattern of unity and peace and harmony and balance. It will be achieved, and God, with his own hand, will make that mark, will put that mark onto the earth. And so this is how I view that, your question, that I and all of us, we're standing right at that intersection now, and we can look back and we can see all the beautiful things that our ancestors have stood for, and what they have done, what they have achieved, the dreams, the visions that they have struggled with, and what they have given us. And it's, to me, it's a beautiful point that we're standing at. But the threshold of what we're standing on, what we're about to enter into, is much more glorious, and that is this unity, or the establishment of the oneness of mankind. And this is the thing I see when I visit all these Baha'i communities all over the world. I feel this excitement, this anticipation that we are almost there, and we will assuredly reach our goal, reach our destiny. This song the words say, Cheaya achitoe, which means in English, I am crying, looking for you. It's a traditional Lakota or Sioux courting song.